Humans have had a detrimental impact on the coral reefs around the world. The coral reefs are slowly being bleached and losing the life of aquatic species all around, killing off the beautiful color and life that used to live not too deep below the ocean's surface. Just off the coast of Belize lies a small island called San Pedro. 2 years ago on vacation, we had the privilege of scuba diving around the coral reefs. This trip became a much bigger problem when I heard the locations of scuba diving are becoming tight to find. Some of the locations the dive shop used to show off to tourists are no longer how they used to be. The bleaching of the coral reefs are scaring off fish, making it harder to show off the once beautiful coasts that are now colorless and lifeless. Coral reefs are a huge food source for humans, supplying over 1 billion people with food, costing a worth of around $172 billion. The coral reefs are actually a small amount of life that's found beneath the ocean's surface. However, the reefs are a safe habitat for thousands of different species. Thousands of species of fish, hundreds of species of hard coral, and many more species. Scientists believe that there may be a few million species undiscovered in and around coral reefs that could greatly impact humans. Coral reefs help humans indirectly as well as directly. Coral reefs provide a buffer, or a wave breaker, for the adjacent shorelines, preventing harsh and strong waves from hitting the shoreline directly, preventing erosion and property damage for those along the coast. Coral reefs are great for the economy as well, through tourism. This includes diving tours, fishing trips, supplying food for hotels and restaurants, along with countless jobs. But what is the problem? Coral reefs are a very vulnerable ecosystem. They face numerous threats, including weather-related threats from strong, large, and powerful waves from hurricanes and cyclones. The large and powerful waves often break pieces of the reef off into fragments that will lie at the bottom of the ocean. Low tides can leave the coral reefs exposed, damaging the reefs from UV radiation, overheating them, and drying them out, stressing them and putting them at risk of not returning to normal or dying because of the stress. They are also threatened by those the reef protects. Reefs are very vulnerable to predation from fish, marine worms, crabs, snails, barnacles, and sea stars that eat away at their soft tissue of the reefs. For the past 5 to 10,000 years, coral reefs have made it through, grown, and recovered from natural threats. So why is this a huge problem now? Coral reefs have been dealing with stress from humans more and more recently. The strain on the reefs imposed by people could be too much for the reefs to recover from, preventing them from growing back. Carelessness from humans could cause them to perish for good. The pollutions from runoff from inland, and other pollutions like garbage and oil spills that greatly impact the ocean. Overfishing or the use of dynamite underwater. Coastal developments, or the careless act of collecting live corals for an aquarium. In this video, you can clearly see how breathtaking scuba diving can be. But regardless of the feeling of being able to breathe underwater, seeing fish some only inches away, getting close up and see the sights of life beneath the ocean's surface firsthand. However, coral reefs are a living, fragile organism that most divers aren't aware of. Scuba divers are actually harming the reefs both directly and indirectly. Diving around coral reefs don't pose a huge threat, but diver after diver will cause a slow but significant harm. Divers often touch the reefs, thinking no harm can be done. An examination of the reefs shows that the reefs have small, fragile membranes. Once touched, the damage caused by simply touching the reefs can kill the membranes, as it can pierce the membrane, making it vulnerable to any small infection, and with time, killing the reef entirely. Divers should be aware of their body and their equipment, to ensure nothing is hanging loose that can come in contact while diving, and ensure they don't kick the reefs with their fins. But what can we do to help prevent the unnecessary stress and strains that humans are imposing on the coral reefs? Since 1998, we have been monitoring and mapping the coral reefs. Scientists have also been doing research on the main causes of degradation from pollution and overfishing. They are trying to find solutions to these problems. The impact that humans have caused on the reefs are under investigation to prevent further damage and are undergoing trials to help the reefs. Currently, there are programs and organizations that are underway. These include scientists, private, governmental, and non-governmental organizations to achieve the goal of preventing the loss of coral reefs. Once coral reefs are dead, they are a silent graveyard. However, a recent field experiment of introducing an underwater loudspeaker, playing sound around these dead or dying reefs, has been making a difference. Adding sound to a dead or dying reef makes the reef resemble it is alive, enticing fish to return. The study was successful in bringing fish back to the reef. However, bringing fish back to the reef isn't the only thing the reef needs to regrow. But with fish slowly returning from the sound of the speaker, they are cleaning the old reefs, making space for new reefs to grow, helping make a healthier ecosystem, allowing new reefs to grow, adding life back to the ocean floor. Coral reefs are crucial to a healthy ocean. Around 25% of all fish in the ocean spend a part of their life in the reefs, regardless of the fact that the reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor. The fact that most of the coral reefs around the world could be wiped out entirely by the year 2050 is terrifying. Coral reefs are dying all over the world at a fast rate. In 2008, a study of the reefs that have already been lost was at 19%. An estimated 17% will be lost within the next 10 to 20 years. It's almost been 12 since the last study of how much of the ocean's coral reefs have died. What would we find today if we did the study again? Have any changes been done since to prevent further loss? In 2016, a study of Australia's Great Barrier Reef showed devastating results. A decline of 89% due to mass bleaching. The world's largest reef system, dying. The ecosystem struggles to survive the bleaching taking place all over the world. With the ocean temperatures continuously climbing, soon all the reefs will be gone, unable to adapt as humans generate more and more greenhouse gases, heating up the oceans. Belize is better protecting and helping the recovery of coral reefs. A ban of gas and oil was taken into consideration after 4.9 million barrels worth of oil was spilled in a deep-water oil well explosion. To compare, that's enough oil to fill 312 Olympic-sized swimming pools with oil. With what they have done to better protect and help the oceans and reefs, they hope that the impact will show people and companies all around the world what can be done, that it is still not too late, and to show it is possible. I am reaching out to everyone to make a difference. The slightest things can still help. As an individual, you are still able to help. By reducing pollution is a huge factor. Simple things like not using harsh chemicals or chemically enhanced pesticides and fertilizers. Don't allow leaking of oil or petrol from your car. Just because you live hundreds or thousands of kilometers from the ocean doesn't mean chemicals won't eventually make it there. Recycle and conserve water. And if you ever visit a beautiful ocean beach, clean up after yourself. And if you take a scuba diving tour, which I highly recommend, don't touch. Let others admire it for years from today.